Hello everyone! In this video I'm going to share with you places in Wrocław that you could definitely visit. Today I'll tell you about the White Stork Synagogue, I'll show you the Old Monastery, which now has a completely different function than before. I'll take you on a walk around the Wrocław Opera and its history. There's also an interesting Museum of Natural History you cannot miss. Okay, so let's start! Please don't forget to subscribe. You can also support me by buying coffee. The link is in the description box below. The Wrocław Opera. Richard Strauss conducted the orchestra here many times. Each event was a grand occasion attended by Wrocław social elite and featuring the greatest artists of the time. Premieres were held weekly and performances lasting up to 6 hours with long intermissions offered the perfect opportunity to discuss business, spark a passionate romance, or at least indulge in some flirtation. The Municipal Theatre building, built in 1841, was designed by the distinguished architect Karl Ferdinand Langhans, also known for the White Stork Synagogue in Wrocław. The palace-like structure housed, among other things, a restaurant hall on the first floor, a confectioner shop open all day, 3 rehearsals room, numerous dressing rooms and offices, a library, and even a highly practical bridge for bringing horses onto the stage. Unfortunately, the old theatre was struck by 2 fires in 1865 and 1871. The first one on July 20th, just after midnight, almost completely reduced the 20-year-old building to its foundations. Luckily, the evening's audience had already returned home. Reconstruction was undertaken by Karl Ludke, the architect responsible for the sculptural program of the Old Town Hall. More about those figures you can find in the episode 8 Things About Wrocław Market Square You Probably Didn't Know. Link below. The second fire broke out during a performance. Fortunately, no one lost their life. However, the theatre once again needed rebuilding, this time wisely. Architect Karl Schmidt, commissioned for the task, introduced cutting-edge fire safety features for the era, and since then the building has never suffered another fire. From that time came the magnificent chandelier with a golden mesh globe, the installation of gas lighting, and the several-ton iron fire curtain which still functions today. The opera also contains a bunker, now used as a storage, and the building is adorned with 1 hectare of gilding, 23-karat gold leaf. In the foyer, visitors can admire 5 chandeliers with Swarovski crystals, each weighing 250 kg and valued at 90,000 Polish złotych apiece in 2007. From the foyer, you can step out onto a balcony overlooking Świdnicka and Teatralna streets, opened to the public in 1872. During World War II, the building was struck by a Soviet heavy caliber shell, but it did not sustain serious damage. Less than 4 months after the war ended, on September 8, 1945, the first performance was staged at the Wrocław Opera. Since then, the opera has operated constantly. Its websites offer a full schedule of events, and attending a performance is well worth it, if only to admire the beauty of the building's interiors. Tickets can also be purchased at the Wrocław Opera's office box, open Monday through Saturday from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. and on Sundays 2 hours before performances. Payments is acceptable in cash or by card. Old Monastery. In Wrocław, there are 4 cathedrals, 2 basilics, several sanctuaries and number of churches that no longer serve the original function. One such place is the Old Monastery, which today houses a concert and restaurant complex. It was formerly the monastery church of Saint Catherine, hence the name of the street, in the Dominican convent. Once it was one of the largest monastic complexes in Wrocław. It was founded in 1294 by Duke Henry V the Fat. Constructions likely began in 1302 and was completed after 12 years, quite fast for those times. After 1810, the monastery was secularized. The cellars and lower floor of the complex were turned into a wine warehouse, while the upper floor was given to the Lutherans. During the siege of Festung Breslau, the Gothic building was destroyed. Reconstruction began only in the 1970s. Since then, the site has featured a concert hall, dining venues, as well as offices and music clubs. At the Old Monastery, visitors can enjoy a variety of music, including classical, rock, jazz, and electronic genres, as well as traditional Christmas carols during the holiday season. And in the summertime, you can enjoy beer in the outdoor garden. The Museum of the Natural History. The museum, located at Sienkiewicza Street 21, just near the Botanical Garden, is one of the most interesting museums in Wrocław and sadly the last popular. Not sure why, but if you ask about it, probably most of the residents of Wrocław wouldn't know where it is. And we have a fine collection of animals and plants here from all over the world. The museum came into existence in 1814 and is now the branch of the University of Wrocław. It's the largest institution of this kind in Poland. It has been operating in its current building since 1903. In the past, there was no list of endangered species. Tradesmen or rich people would travel and bring interesting animals from all over the world, living or not. Some of the exhibits are from the local zoo, which have died there. Most of them were collected before the World War II by the Germans. Check the skeleton of the largest animal that has ever lived on the earth, the blue whale, which is actually a 2-year-old kid of a blue whale. Stand face to face with the giant deer, also known as the Irish elk, the largest deer that ever lived on earth. This skeleton was purchased by the museum in the end of 19th century. Learn more about the sea unicorn, whose correct name is the one-toothed narwhal. However, it's not a horn, but the upper left tusk. Already in the ancient time, the unicorn was depicted in the stance of a horse or an antelope, and people believed in the magical and healing power of the unicorn horn. Check the best preserved in Poland skull of anchors, which lived the longest in Poland. Compare the size of the egg of an extinct elephant bird and many more interesting species. Admire the beautiful representative part of the building. The museum ticket costs only 14 Polish zlotych and kids under 4 can enter for free. Remember, the museum is closed on Mondays, like most museums in Wrocław. I strongly recommend taking a guide who will make viewing the exhibits much more interesting. You can book a guide tour in Polish for now only via email listed in the comment section below. Cost for up to 10 people is 50 Polish zlotych. The White Stork Synagogue. The White Stork Synagogue, hidden among surrounding buildings, also looks beautiful at night. Inside you will find the history of Wrocław Jews. Before the World War II, Orthodox Jews attended this synagogue, while non-Orthodox Jews went to the new synagogue, which was destroyed in 1938 during the Night of Broken Glass, Kristallnacht. This building was constructed in 1829 as one of the most outstanding works of Cardinal Langhans. Mention of Jews in Wrocław appeared as early as the 13th century. They were under the protection of the Duke, just like monks, clergy and women. Killing a Jew was treated as a crime against the ruler and was punishable by death. However, this did not last long. By 1453, Jews were expelled from the city. They were blamed for the Black Death and many other catastrophes. In 1455, King Władysław of Bohemia forbade Jews from permanent residence in the city. Jews were allowed in Wrocław only a few times a year during fairs and markets, when everyone could enter the city regardless of origin or faith. This brought the higher taxes of the city council, and business is business. In 1744, Frederick II, King of Prussia, officially confirmed the existence of a Jewish state administration responsible for managing Jewish affairs in the city. About 300 people were granted permission to legally reside in Wrocław and practice their professions. They achieved success not only in entrepreneurship but also in science. By 1895, 44% of Wrocław doctors were of Jewish origin. Everything changed with the end of 19th century economic crisis, 1873, when conservative circles demanded the withdrawal of full civil rights from Jews. You can learn more about the complex history of Jews in Wrocław at the exhibition in the synagogue. It's also worth visiting the mikvah, ritual bath, and reading about the rituals of purification. The Jewish community actively operates in the synagogue, so you may come across many ceremonies and gatherings. On Saturdays, the synagogue is closed for visitors, but on the other days it's open from 10 a.m. Various concert and cabaret performances are also organized here. With a week's notice, you can book a guided tour for an additional fee. It's best to write to the email address provided in the comment section below. Tours are available in Polish or English. I hope you learned something about Wrocław by watching this episode. If you are looking for more, check other episodes too.